welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story. I gave birth a month ago. Yeah, it's already been a month. Time is flying. So I have it all written down right here just so I can remember everything that happened that day, and it's fresh. It was the morning of July 13th. We had to be at the hospital at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we got up at 7. We packed the car, got ready, took our time and relaxed and stayed calm knowing that we were about to go to the hospital to have a baby. So we got to the hospital around 8 and some change. I got checked into my labor and delivery room. They gave me my gown. I changed into that. The nurse did my IV, and I waited for further instructions. My nurse came back in and asked me if I had eaten breakfast, and I told her no, so she did advise me to eat breakfast before this long day begins, because I would be eating nothing all day. So I had my fiance go get me breakfast, and I ate and waited for the nurse to come back in to get everything started. At around 11, when they gave me the Epidural orally, because last time I had an induction with my daughter, they inserted it into my vagina, so they wanted to try it orally this time to see how it affects my body this time. The nurse did tell me before we did the Epidural that it was just to thin out my cervix but not put me in labor, because she said that's what the Pitocin was for. But at around 1 o'clock, my body reacted really well to the Epidural, and I started having back-to-back contractions, which were really painful, but like not as painful as they could get. The contractions weren't too bad at first, but then after a while they started to get really intense, and I couldn't take the pain anymore, so I caved in at 3 centimeters and got the epidural. I don't regret it at all, because those contractions were really painful, and if you've been in labor, you know. I waited about 10 to 20 minutes for the anesthesiologist to come in and do my epidural, and when they did, 2 of them came in. The hospital that I went to was actually a teaching hospital, so there's students that are in med school learning with the med doctors. So I happened to have a student that was learning, I guess. I don't know, but I figured she was. So my nurse had me get into the position that you're supposed to get in for the epidural, which is like you but you like sit on the edge of the bed, and then like you lean over a little bit, and you have like a pillow in front of you to like wrap your arms around and like relax, and like you kind of like have to hunch over. So that's what I did. My nurse told me to relax, and the student was the one who was doing my epidural. So I was in position, ready to go. My last epidural, let me tell you, it was a breeze. Like 1 poke and a sting and it was over. So like I was expecting for this one to be the same way. I was like, okay, this is not going to be bad, because I've did this before and it shouldn't hurt. It should be like last time. But no. This girl poked me and it hurt, and I had to like stay as still as possible to that poke, and she was digging around in there, I guess trying to find the correct spot to go in. And I guess she didn't do the right spot, so guess what? She had to poke me again, and yet again she didn't find the right spot. So the other anesthesiologist had to barge in, and she didn't even tell me she was going to poke me. Like, she like just went. And of course my initial reaction was a jump, because I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, oh my god. did I just fuck myself? Did I make myself paralyzed? And they told me I was okay and just to relax and stay calm. And in my head I was thinking, I was like, oh my god, what's taking so long? Why are they taking so long? Why do they have to poke me so many times? And after the other anesthesiologist poked me, she dug around for a little bit and then she found the correct spot, got everything in, did everything, and bam, it was done. I was like, thank the Lord. That was the most painful epidural I've ever had, even though I've only had one other one, but it was so painful. I'm not trying to scare anybody out there because you can have a different experience, and obviously I had a different experience. Okay, I had to stop because he had to feed, so where was I? Okay, so after they were all done doing the epidural, they apologized to me for taking long and for all those pokes, and you know what? I was too uncomfortable to even care about what they were saying, so it was just like, whatever. You guys caused me so much pain. So, there's that. I didn't care. So after my epidural was all set in, I wasn't in any pain. I felt so great, and I was able to nap and rest before things got started. At around 4:30, they came in and checked me, and I was at 6 centimeters. So they told me to let my body keep doing what my body was doing, putting me into labor, and hopefully I'd have a baby soon and I wouldn't need the Pitocin because my body was doing such a great job on the Cervidil that they gave me orally. Yeah. After that, they didn't check me for a while, and my nurse came back in to see if my water broke or anything like that happened, and it didn't. So unfortunately she did put the Pitocin on, but that was just to speed things up and make things happen more quickly. So I was kind of grateful for that because I really didn't want to sit there all day waiting for my water to break and nothing else happening. So that's why they started the Pitocin. So after they started me on the Pitocin, I started to feel pain on one side of my body, and no matter how many times I pushed that damn epidural button, it didn't do any justice. So I called my nurse and I told her what was happening, and she turned me on my side to see if that would give me some relief, and it did. Thank God, because that pain, I did not want to feel it again. I hated feeling the contractions because they were so painful. But like, shout out to all them women out there who give birth without the epidural, because I would not be able to do it. Sorry, not sorry, because it is so painful. So after she turned me on my side, she told me that I needed to wait for the doctor that was there in the hospital working the floor. She told me I need to wait for the doctor to come in and break my water so we can get things moving, because my nurse said during a contraction, she said that my cervix was completely gone and all that needed to be done was to have my water broken so we can get things going and I could have baby. So I was like, this doctor needs to freaking come because I'm ready to have this baby. So at around 10:40, the doctor finally came in and she said the same exact thing that my nurse said about the cervix being gone whenever I had a contraction, and she finally broke my water. After breaking my water, my doctor had me do some practice pushes to have the baby go further down into the birth canal. The doctor had left the room to attend another patient that I guess was in labor. So she left and she told my nurse to let her know whenever things actually get going, and then she'd be back in to deliver the baby. So my nurse went on with the practice pushes until the baby's head was visible. So at around 10:50, the doctor came back in and it was go time from there. So I pushed for exactly 20 minutes, including those practice pushes, and he popped out. He was a bigger baby, so they had to, like, when his head was coming out, they kind of like had to like pull him out a little bit because they needed to get his shoulders out. So once his shoulders were out, they kind of had to like yank him and then rotate him because he was so big. But then after that, he just slipped right out, and he was born at 10:59 at night. He weighed 7 pounds, 14 ounces, and his measurements were 20.5 inches long. After he was born, I did get to do skin-to-skin contact right away while they delivered the placenta and stitched me up down there. So what you probably all are wondering is, did I tear? And the answer to your question is I did. And I did get a second-degree tear. A second-degree tear is a muscle tear. So I tore on the inside of my vagina. I don't think I tore on the outside because they stitched like inside. And I asked how many stitches were there because last time I freaked out so bad about it because just having stitches down there is really scary. So yeah, you're gonna be asking all these questions. And my last experience with stitches down there was not pleasant. It hurt so bad every time I sat down. It wasn't great. So of course I asked if I tore, and she did say yes. That's the one thing that I was stressing the whole time was, am I gonna tear? I don't want to tear. But I did. The doctor told me that it was just one long stitch, so she couldn't exactly tell me how many stitches there were. So I was like, okay, just don't stress it. You'll be fine. Take it like a man. So I had to wait until after everything was not numb to see what the damage was, and after I showered and all that. So after he was born, they started taking everything out. They took out my epidural. They didn't take out my IV just in case I needed that, but they took out my epidural so that I can start feeling my legs back. They sat me up so I can breastfeed, and then they started the process on getting me to my postpartum room. So after I was in my postpartum room, everything went smoothly from there on out. I took a shower that night actually, because I just felt like I needed to shower and get clean. So I did that. I did check the damage down there, and it was a pretty scary sight. So I don't recommend checking down there until after a couple of weeks when it's like starting to heal, because it's pretty scary. And then I got to go home 2 days later, and CJ did get to meet his big sister, and I will insert a clip of that right now. Oh, it's baby. So that is pretty much it for my labor and delivery story. I hope you guys all enjoyed. It has been 1 month, so I do have to do my 1 month postpartum update, and I do have to do his 1 month update, so that will be coming very soon, so stick around. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. My experience this time was much better than the last time. I did enjoy giving birth to my son and my daughter. I would do it all over again if I had the chance to. Alright everyone, thanks for subscribing, and welcome to all my new subscribers, and stay tuned for my next video. Bye guys. So this is little CJ. He's 1 month old and a couple of days. And he has light eyes. Oh, he's getting fussy. He's getting fussy. Say hi, baby. Ooh. He's so handsome. I love him so much. My handsome papi. You're so handsome. You're so handsome. So, say bye, everybody. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. One life.